Mom of a fallen soldier couldn't understand why her son's grave was green. What she discovered, later on, brought her to tears. It was never easy to accept that one of your loved ones had already died. Death was never an easy thing to cope with, and just like how the saying goes, no parent should have to bury their child. However, for the family members of people risking their lives to serve their country, it has been a part of their lives to worry about their children's safety. A few gravestones down, Jake noticed a young woman kneeling by a headstone, crying uncontrollably. It pained him to see her that way, so he approached to try and comfort her. They started talking, and she told Jake that she was there visiting her husband Joseph's grave, who had been killed 5 years earlier. The woman left the cemetery comforted by Jake, not knowing he'd do so much more than that. Months passed, and Raymond and Rachel went to Garden Park to visit Joseph's grave. What they saw left them in awe, and they couldn't believe it at first. The grass on Joseph's plot was greener than they'd ever seen it, while the graves around it were covered in dirt and dead grass. They had no idea how this could happen, and at first they thought it was a miracle. As Joseph's parents stood there bewildered, an old man walked up to them. It was Jake. He told them how he'd met their daughter-in-law months before, and had decided after that encounter to water their son's grave too. It was the least he could do, he said. After all, Joseph sacrificed for his country. The Villaseñors didn't know it, but Jake had also lost someone in the armed forces. One of Jake's 9 children, Misha, was married to a U.S. veteran. After successful deployments, Benjamin was diagnosed with cancer. Even though he went through chemo, it was not enough, and sadly he passed away in 2011. Misha has now remarried and has 2 beautiful children, but she and her whole family remember Ben fondly. Especially Jake, who empathized with the Villaseñors in a very special way. Raymond and Rachel didn't know how to thank Jake for his extraordinary gesture, so they just hugged him. It was just incredible to know that a stranger would take that much time and care for our son who he didn't even know, remarked Rachel. What she didn't know was that to Jake, he and Joseph weren't strangers. How could that be? Now when Jake goes to the cemetery every day, he has 2 people to talk to, Betty and Joseph, whom he affectionately calls Joe. Jake's son, Roger, knows this is just part of his dad's character. The way Dad treated Mom and all of us, it's not a surprise, he said. Roger also contributed to making his dad's gesture go viral. Roger was so moved by his father's kindness that he decided to post a story on Facebook. Very thankful for this young man's service and very proud of my dad and what he does to honor him. Love you, Dad, he wrote. Roger knows the importance of family all too well, as he recently had a scare involving one of his children.